Hi, it's Wendy, and welcome to my studio. I will be painting on the back wall today, and also I will be putting some of my new stencils on my newly prepared panels here on the desk or on the table. I've just spent some time going over some old files, finding some great images. I have contemporary images and also a combination of contemporary images and also historical images. Botticelli, ancient Greek and Roman statues, and contemporary nude models. Just a nice combination of things. So I'll be working on that as well. See how much I can get in today on this video. And let's see. Yeah, I need some nice flat, largish splashes of color or shapes of color on the back wall. So I'm going to do that with the squeegee. Goes pretty fast once I get the ball rolling. There's just all this preparation and getting things started. This is layer 2 of about 15 or 20 or 50 layers. It really depends. And I'm going to do some of that over here as well. This color is already existing on these panels, but not as solid blocks, and I think they would do well as that. If I stagger them, meaning if I go in a kind of a fan-like direction, it does give an impression of movement, and I like that. I want them to get busy. I don't want them to get busy. I really do go back and forth. This color is already represented quite prominently on these paintings. So I might just reinforce that in a few areas. So it goes light to dark as opposed to, lighter to darker as opposed to a kind of a monotone of the value. I think that will work. Sometimes I don't want the overlap quite as prominent, so I just brought what was behind there a little closer to the surface. And again, if the lines are assembled in an arc or a fan-like direction, then it's like the shapes are falling over. So you do create that movement, that rhythm. Yeah, well, that was good. Wasn't sure I would do as much on these. Now I have to wait for the paint to dry. These paintings are kind of the dark horses. They were getting a little too overlaid, but you know, just these turquoise brush strokes, just a few things to bring focus a little bit more to the foreground, and you know, that overlay just receded to the background. By overlay, I mean I used a kind of a semi-opaque white to diffuse areas, and then it was just kind of all too diffused. So I had to go back in there, and I never know. I mean, if I made notes, but then I'm just, you know, recreating, you know, I'm mimicking my own work as opposed to letting the process guide me. And I'm very big on letting the process guide me these days. It's what brings me a lot of satisfaction, and I think the work benefits from that. See, I felt these were done, and they are at a certain level, but I really want to go back in. And these, I am possibly going to add just maybe a line. Ooh, but I'll start with these. That's why I cover my floor and myself, because there's always a spill around the next corner. I like to use some lines as a launch for a shape, or as the base for a shape. I can do that pretty easily with the squeegee. And of course, I've got habits and patterns and things that I do over and over, but it's kind of like a computer. I mean, computers are just like 0, 1, 0, 1s. And that's the basis for everything. So I have my own 0, 1s, 1s, 2s, and those are the basis for much of my work. I think about the corners too. You know, I just, as time passes and I look more and more, and my looking gets deeper and deeper, I see more. I like that. That really, it's still a kind of a translucent color, but it really anchored this painting. It's kind of coming up and filling the space there. But that might be it. That might be, you know, I'm done. I think I'm going to reinforce as opposed to add. I like the punch of this yellow. It's kind of orangey yellow. Do I have to put it everywhere? No. No, I do not. Will I? Possibly. Quite likely. There's no reason in my mind not to, because they all turn out very different anyway. And then once they're taken down and new paper goes up, it's a whole different energy that occurs. All right, let's see what I've done there. One move can tilt the balance. One shape can tilt the balance one way or another. Reminds me of a song. So I'm just going to counter that. Somewhat. Maybe just one more. Okay, that feels better. Corners are good. These corners need some work. And maybe I'll do one more. I have this green. Lines are so different from squeegees. I was thinking of using the squeegee, and but I'm not going to. I'm going to just. I've got paint on my glasses now. I can see. I can see that I'm looking through paint. These long lines are too much. I would take some of them back, but I can't. So I'm going to continue as if they were just the right things to do. Well, I always say starting a painting is easy because you put a mark down and then you have a problem and then you have to solve the problem. And I have just established some problems over there. So now I have more to do. They're quite awkward and I love that, and it scares me, and I'm excited about it, and you know, these are all the things that go through my mind. Now I'm combining that green, that kind of blacky green and the yellow. Let's just see what that does before I have to go and clean my glasses off. Oh, that's nice. So I can take some of this in some of these places and use it to feather the lines. Or to add more of a kind of a Kelly green because of the mixture. Okay, that's enough. So I'm getting real scared now. I wanted to also do a little bit of stenciling. You know, I forgot that I might have used this paint, but it's been exhausted now. So let's see. I'm going to start with, what am I going to start with? It doesn't really matter because I won't end with it. It's a tough decision what to start with. I'm going to put some red on here. There's already green, so I know I'm going to go into a gray tone, red and green. Add a little bit of dirty water because it's almost empty. And I'm going to have to top it up or change it completely. Didn't really do that much, except to make it very runny now. So I'm going to overlay the whole thing with the yellow. And we'll see. This is just a start, just to get started on the stencils. So let me take a goddess, put her in the landscape. This is so much like the work of Nancy Spiro. If you don't know her or her work, I highly recommend you check her out. There's a Venus, and here's a figure. Ooh. I'll show you the videos. I mean, I'll reposition the cameras and show you these in a little more detail. On the next video. I'm just trying to, you know, just get something down so that I have something to start with. And this isn't even working that well, but it's okay. It's just the outline, so I know what, you know, what I've placed where. And get another Venus, or possibly add a little more fluid. And it's nice to get these stencils started, you know, to start putting paint on them because they're transparent and I lose them. One of my viewers suggested that I put them in, or she relayed how she solves the problem of losing these transparencies by, you know, putting them in binders in plastic sleeves, which I have done, but I left that binder in Europe. So I'm really starting again with my stencils. I mean, it's always the way that, you know, when you leave something somewhere or you lose something, that was the best one. That was the one that you want. That was the one that, you know, is going to make the difference. And no, it's not, but you just miss the thing that you don't have more than the ones that you do have. Human nature. So, yeah, I miss them. And another good suggestion that I hadn't thought of was putting colored paper behind them, but I get mine so messy that it's the stencil itself that gets the color, so I can find them pretty much more easily. However, when you have a studio full of things on the go, there is a figure ground problem, meaning that they just blend into the table or the floor or wherever I put them last, and they're kind of hard to find again. But these are all good problems to have, because if I have those problems, that means I'm working. That means I'm painting. That means I'm getting things done. That means I've got the creative process on the move, and that makes me happy. And then I just have to clean up. We all do. So on that note, I'm going to say goodbye for now, and I will see you on the next tape. Don't forget to go and make some art.